Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulih al-Kareem. Amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah, we are back here in the month of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us tawfiq and ability to live until this point. There are many people in the past year who have passed away and they have not reached this next Ramadan. So Allah has given us another opportunity to maximize this month and to take full advantage, because we know that these are the things that will benefit us in the hereafter. How we conduct ourselves in general, and especially in these special moments in which we have greater and greater opportunities to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what will really make it or break it for us in the hereafter. And that is the true life. This life is solely a test. And so on a daily basis, as we mentioned last year as well, we used to have Taleem. We used to have mentioned some beneficial points for us to note before the iftar time, and then have a short dua before we break our fast. And so we'll be continuing this year, inshallah. So 4 days a week, I will be doing it, inshallah. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Maulana Kashif Sahab will be doing it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, inshallah ta'ala. So for the days that I will be conducting the ta'aleem, I decided that I will be covering some the sins of the tongue, and some points about how we can protect our tongue and make sure that we do not say anything that's displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well as displeasing to the creation, and that harms people or puts people down or hurts their feelings. And for doing this, I will go through a book that is in Arabic that is called Hasa'idul Alsun, the harvests of the tongue. And I will go through very briefly after this why it is called that, the harvests of the tongue. So inshallah, we'll go through some brief ahadith and selections from this book, which the entire book, about 150 pages, is just on the sins of the tongue. We don't realize that there's so many possible things that we could say wrong from our tongue, and we're saying it on a regular basis. So inshallah, this will be a means for us to perfect ourselves in terms of our character and protect ourselves, and also to even enhance our fast as well, because we know that fasts are at different level. One is the bare minimum, just staying away from food and drink and making sure that you don't break your fast in a technical sense. But then beyond that is to fast with all your body parts. Fast with your eyes by staying away from haram. Fast with your tongue by staying away from saying anything which is haram or hurtful to others. And fasting with your body parts, etc., by staying away from sins. So this is the higher level of fast that we want to attain, inshallah. That obviously will be discussed, inshallah, sometime in Ramadan. But I want to focus specifically and zoom in on the tongue, because it's such an important part of the body that unfortunately we utilize it in the wrong manner, and that is a means of great harm for us, even though we do not realize it. I'm just going to mention a few ayat and ahadith for today and tomorrow, which tell us how important it is for us to watch our tongues and to protect our tongues and to watch what we say. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. That the man does not say a single word except that there is someone who is ready and always ready to record this word that he says, right? And who is that? That is the angel that is standing on our shoulder, always ready to write, the two angels that are always ready to write every single deed that we do, including every single word that comes out of our mouth. It will be written and will be held against us or for us on the day of judgment. And so that's something that constantly has to be in our mind, that whatever I say will always also be held accountable for that. Right? And so we might think that, oh, but on the day of judgment, maybe I could make a case, though I said this for this reason or that reason. No. On that day, you cannot lie, or you cannot make your own case. On that day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَوْمَ تَشْهَدُ عَلَيْهِمْ أَلْسِنَتُهُمْ وَأَيْدِيهِمْ وَأَرْجُلُهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. On that day, their own tongues, their hands, and their legs will bear testimony to that which they used to do. So you won't even be allowed to speak. Another ayat says, الْيَوْمَ نَخْتِمُ عَلَىٰ أَفْوَاهِهِمْ. That your tongues will be sealed, your mouth will be sealed, because you yourself will not be given the opportunity to explain yourself. Rather, your tongue and your own body parts will explain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what you did, and there will be no way for you to lie or argue your way out of it. And so we have to realize that our tongues, every single thing that we say, will be brought in front of us on the day of judgment. Right? And there's so many other ahadith. For example, the Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ يَضْمَنْ لِي مَا بَيْنَ لَحْيَيْهِ وَمَا بَيْنَ فَخِذَيْهِ أَضْمَنْ لَهُ الْجَنَّةِ. The person who guarantees that which is between his two jaws, meaning his tongue, and that which is between his two thighs, which means his private organs, meaning does not commit haram with regard to these two things, the tongue and the private organ, then أضمن له الجنة. I will guarantee for him Jannah. Imagine that's how great and important these two aspects are. That if you are able to protect your tongue and your private organ from haram, then it's as if you have guaranteed a spot in Jannah for yourself. Because once you control this, and controlling everything else will be much easier. Fulfilling all the other obligations will be much easier than this. And finally, I just wanted to explain, as I mentioned, that the book is called Hasa'idul Alsun, the harvest of the tongue. Why is it called that? This is based on a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he was asked by his Sahabi Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anh. He was asked that, could people go to hellfire because of their tongue, or do they get sin if they say something wrong? He was kind of surprised about that, because normally people speak, they don't really think much of what they say. And the Prophet ﷺ replied in an astonished manner that wayhak, that he was surprised that Mu'adh radiallahu anh asked this question. And then he asked a rhetorical question, وَهَلْ يَكُبُّ النَّاسَ عَلَى مَنَاخِرِهِمْ فِي النَّارِ إِلَّا حَصَائِدُ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ? Is there anything besides the harvest of the tongue that throws people face first into the hellfire? Meaning, this is one of the greatest means and the most important means by which people enter the fire is due to the harvest of their tongue. What does it mean, harvest of the tongue? When you plant something, when a farmer plants the seeds for his plants or for his crops, then there is a time where he will harvest whatever he planted. He reaps what he sowed, right? And so whatever we speak is actually a seed that is planted for us, and on the day of judgment, we will reap what we sowed. So if we're planting beautiful seeds of beautiful words and amazing things that we are saying, then we will have amazing harvest on the day of judgment. However, if we are saying terrible things, always harming others and sinning with our tongues, then we will also reap that on the day of judgment, and we will reap the terrible fruits of whatever we sowed in this life. And so may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all tawfiq to protect our tongues while we're fasting and after we're fasting as well. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. And we will finish off with the dua inshallah, and then we will break our fast. اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم اهدنا لأحسن الأخلاق لا يهدي لأحسنها إلا أنت، واصرف عنا سيئها لا يصرف عنا سيئها إلا أنت. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم، وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم اغفر لإخواننا المسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين، وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم، وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا بكرمك علما وعملا. اللهم احفظ أيدينا وألسننا وأعيننا من السوء يا أرحم الراحمين.
آمين.
سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अल्लाहुम्मा इन्नी लका सुमतु व अला रिज़्क़िका अफ़्तरतु। ख़वातीन व हज़रात, रोज़ा इफ़्तार कर लीजिए। الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله